Hey, Soze.
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. I'm with my team right now, actually.
Your team? Oh, what you up to there, buddy? You doing something important, huh?
Well, I decided to run, and by my estimate, I probably got about 300 to 400 votes lined up.
I mean, listen, who the fuck else are they gonna vote for? Honestly, I did talk to Oz, whatever the fuck his
Oswaldo.
name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I mean, he seems okay. He seems fun, but that guy is the sort of guy to... I'd vote for Biden instead, is what I'm saying, okay?
Were you going to vote for a corpse?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This motherfucker...
Yeah, but then Oswaldo would end up.
Well, if it was Osvaldo, yeah. Listen, yes, whatever. But you get the point. So you're running for mayor? You going balls deep on that shit?
I have 19 groups that have full backing of.
Okay, that sounds good. Hey,
that includes the doctors, and that includes the G6 folks. It's an actual pretty incredible platform.
I mean, this is the reality. I don't think anybody's gonna want to be anywhere near the last mayor and that group of people. So I got no doubt you're gonna easily take it. It's a good thing. My question is though, have you thought much about the game plan? What the fuck do you plan to do with the reins?
Yes, yeah. Actually, right now I'm with my team. So I've been talking about my three main platform points and then the others. They are all being, I've got a guy who's putting it all on a website, easy to consume at a headline level and then easy to dive into to detail. So each person can just go to the website and see everything I'm about. Makes it easy marketing.
Ah, nice. Okay. You actually, yeah, that, I mean, sounds
also
sensible.
The same guy is making 90s style Marvel character work for each and every person on my team that visualizes not just us, but what it is we bring to the table, which will then turn into 30-second TikToks on those points. So all these Zoomers just pull up their Twitter and they see what everything's about in very few words.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I mean, so who's running? Oswaldo and who else? Who are you got to worry with?
I have zero worry. In fact, as you've seen, the FOIA stuff is up. Gun law is changing. I'm currently working on that. I've already repealed some of this indefinite warrant bullshit.
This FOIA shit is, I still don't understand the fucking.
It's the first of many steps. What you're seeing there is effectively, I told you that it got plagiarized already, right?
I get this. Listen, it's the whole cart before the fucking horse thing again, though. If they make these systems, they need to make the entity that's going to control this. The DOJ has so much fucking power to create groups and people under it to control these systems, and they just don't fucking do it.
So my answer to that, I'm going to give you the high level answer, is that this FOIA is already kind of working at a low level, but the long-term plan is as follows. I want to develop these lawyers so they become the legislators. And what I mean by that is each and every lawyer's got their clients, got the businesses they look after. They sometimes sit on the ass fishing, looking for more to do. So I'm going to be tasking them, or on their own accord, let them task themselves to write changes and get them peer reviewed amongst themselves. So when it hits the consul's desk, they're already like ready to go instead of a 3-hour meeting on like how to get rid of masks.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense though. My worry would still be is, I feel like the lawyers should be under the DOJ, but not necessarily under their authority, but in the same sort of structure so they can work together, making DOC or fucking parole officers. All those people could be intertwined in so many different areas. They don't need the police to do parole. They don't need fucking, DOC guards or the police to hire them. They could just organize this all themselves or even do it themselves. There ain't nothing stopping it. Anyway, listen. It sounds good. I like what I'm hearing either way. I'm just checking in to see what the fuck's going on. Is there court case shit that you're pushing or something? Is that or Murphy? Whatever happened with that shit?
He's pushing the charges against Siobhan and Max that I don't know where the hell that's going, to be honest. But the idea was to wait for him to complete that and then we move on to the next. But in the grand scheme of things, Soze, there's like what, 2 weeks till elections. So for me, I feel like my energy is better served getting prepared. So as soon as I get into office, shit's like moving day one. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'm already taking the approach of like making sure the votes are coming in and like pretending I'm the mayor right now. So
yeah. So with the old legislation, can you get all that dog shit removed as the mayor? How does that work? Or does the council have to vote?
The council needs to vote, but in that, I'm not only trying to get myself there, I'm already working the other seats. That's the other. I'm already trying to get backing of the future seat.
They should just change the structure of that shit. Make sure the mayor's at the top and the people under him can vote, but like, who gives a fuck? You know, get input from them.
Yeah.
What's the point in leaving a fucking bottleneck there as well that you get stuck in and you can't do nothing? Listen,
I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
He did get authorization to pass his own shit, right? While he done dumb shit, the fact that things could get pushed and make changes quicker was a good thing. He just was retarded. So, you know, having a system like that can work, but, you know, that's where I think the authorities and other elements, you know, in other areas. So there's also this thing, Mr. Chavez, jurisdiction, Blaine County. What's going to happen up there? It says you're still only the mayor of the local municipal government, so.
I see where you're going with this. I think the things that need to be done is clarity in the Constitution, followed by the existing laws, ensuring that they are adhering to it, and then developing out that next step. And I think that next step, personally, I think what should happen is that in that little voting circle, there should be a representative of the city, representative of Polito, and a representative of Sandy. And they, very similar to the current votes that are on the seat, should themselves get a vote and be the voice of their local constituents.
Maybe. I mean, it could work, but I still see the choke points that we create. My reality with all this is like, if the Constitution's to change, I believe the state needs to be involved in a constitutional change. My worry is whatever pushes through that is going to define everything yet again. Well, I mean, it should have defined everything, but we just, I guess, need to make sure it's right, because that's it's a piece of shit. You know, how the fuck are we going to make a backbone to a law where it says shit about search and seizures or protecting oneself, but it's required to have a weapon to protect yourself? You can't even fucking, you know, run somebody over or fucking, you know, break a law to defend yourself. It just says you need a gun.
Yeah, I think I think it goes back to my point that I think everything's got to get re-reviewed and exercised. And I don't see that as more than a 1 to 2 week effort.
Well,
there's not much written. There's literally not that much written. So, like, I don't see why it would take a long time to begin with.
Exactly. But, I mean, you know, the reason this works in America and other states or whatnot is because they got bills and rights that are above them. You know, the core of what makes the fundamentals of law work. So, you know, if the Constitution is to say something like you have the right to free speech, you have the right to protect oneself, you have the right to vote, you have the right to petition, you know, that sort of shit. Now, when you fall back to a law, because it says I have the right to protect myself, I can go into a courtroom and say I was protecting myself by running this person over because they were shooting at me, or I was running red lights because I was, you know, protecting myself, and you don't get in trouble. Well, they can argue it, but they have to articulate it with their case law at that point. So it's like, you know, these guys and all the shit that they charge us for is public, because the reality is I got charged for treason and still nobody knows why or how that was even done.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think in that front, I think there should be clarity of the legislation that is at the state level and that is outside of it. Clarity, because clearly there's confusion. And I think proposals to change things at the state level would be something like, let's say there's state level legislation or a new amendment or alteration to an amendment that gets written up, it gets approved, but now it gets kicked up to the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's technically how legislation works right now, but it's not necessarily signed by the governance, I believe. So it's authorized, just not, it can be revoked at any point. So technically, I guess if you were to write something on request, then anything would be possible.
Makes sense.
Okay, hey, either way, listen, sounds like you're heading in a plan I would have had either way, but, I'm a felon. A convicted felon. I'm pretty much a fucking terrorist, so, I don't think there's much for me to do around here, but, I'll make sure the Constitution's followed.
All right. And you let me know if it's not.
Oh. Sure. Just read the newspaper.
Okay, we'll do.
I'll see you around. I got the city hall on the ropes. No, I don't think that. The reality is the city hall. I mean, the mayor and shit were fucked. They were cooked either way. But nobody's really at fault for how it is. You've got to remember, if your constitution doesn't tell you why the core elements of laws are created, it's very difficult to be a judge, honestly, because no matter what you say, will seem a distorted view on the actual Constitution. Because the Constitution's meant to be the only law, but it defines things far too much in terms of like DNA, search and seizures. It just shouldn't do that. Same with the due process. I feel it should just say, hey, you have the right to a fair trial, due process, and then under that there is legislation passed as things happen to show which elements give you that authority, right? Or the right, or explain how it should work. Rather than making a base one that is just fucking, broken. So that way it's always left open as a gap. And, you build off that. So luckily, what Medi's doing is also what Soze was doing. And I had been talking about a lot of this sort of shit with them. So it's good to see in roleplay it's happening. And things that do change are literally based on roleplay. So it's perfect. That's what local laws are for. Yeah, but everything is considered a state law right now because the penal code San Andreas, which is a state. So there's statewide laws.